In my last video about the Ruger Vaccaro, I was talking about oiling using a brush. And I thought I'd go ahead and dedicate a video just to that subject because it can be misleading on what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it and everything else. Most people consider using a paintbrush as painting on the oil, and you're not. Now, like I said, this only works with a real hair brush, like a horsehair brush. It does not work with synthetic brushes. And I tend to use either Breakfree CLP or the newer one, which is Weapons CLP, and I've been using this. This is from Centerfire, and this is a biodegradable gun cleaning solution. Cleans, lubricates, protects, low odor, eco-friendly, non-abrasive, non-toxic. I don't care about the eco stuff, but it does do a good job for the cleaning, lubricating, and preservative. And that's what Breakfree had been doing, and I've been using Breakfree for 26 years. Now, the deal is, anytime you use anything that says CLP on it, and they're all basically the same, cleaner, lubricant, preservatives, anytime you use any oil, and it's probably a good idea for just about any oil these days, anytime you have your oil, shake it. Make sure it's shaken up really good. And the reason is, and it really started out with the CLPs, because this has basically 3 different things it's supposed to do, and because of that it has a multiple amount of chemicals on the inside, and those chemicals will sit and they will separate. So you're sitting on the shelf and you pick it up and you put it on your rifle or on your cleaning patch. You might just be getting the cleaner, or you might be just getting the oil, or you might just be getting the preservative. Make sure you shake it up and get all 3 like you're supposed to be getting. With the new one, it doesn't take much. A quick shake and that's about it. Just remember, always shake your oil, and this is just a pure oil mix. If it's a mixture of different kinds of oils and stuff like that, most of the newer ones on the market are, give it a quick shake before you use it. Keep it from separating. Now, back to the brush. I'm going to show you a quick demonstration. I have 2 AR lower receivers here. Now, these are version receivers. They have just been taken out of the box, never been used, never been out of the box, never had any oil put on it. So you're going to see the difference between using the brush method and just a cloth and a little oil on it, rubbing it on. So you can see the difference between the 2. And I'll just go ahead and I'll move the camera and you can see it then. Alright, here are the 2 receivers, and this receiver here, and then maybe you can get a closer look here, but you can see that these are absolutely dry. Both of them don't have a spot of oil on them, and you can tell because they just kind of, they have that have that real dry look. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to just use the new Weapons CLP. I'm going to put that on a patch. And just to show you, now this is how the military does it. They'll take a patch and they'll wipe down the receiver. Now this is aluminum, but it doesn't need, the aluminum doesn't need to be wiped down, but since this is the demonstration, it shows up quite well on this kind of metal. Now you can see he's kind of a little streaky and dry in some areas, and some other areas are moist. It's basically uneven oil. Now, because it's uneven oil, you got uneven protection. Now with this one, here's my brush again, and this is not a paintbrush now, this is an oil brush, and has been an oil brush for 20 years. I'll take just one spray. Oops, I gotta get, this is the new bottle, gotta wait for it to spray. There we go. So one spray, and that's basically too much. This is a very small receiver here, but I want you to see, the whole receiver. And what you're going to see first is you're going to see the built up oil on the brush, and it's going to look like you would think it would look. See, it looks really wet. Try to get the angles here. There, maybe that shows a little bit wet. But each time I do that, each time I wipe or brush, what happens is it gets the other bristles soaked, and the brush ends up soaking in much of the oil, so I can continue to use it and use it and use it and use it. And by doing it this way, I'm able to get through everything. Now, let me get the angles here for you. You'll notice that's a perfectly even coat. And it should have a nice satin look to it. And it shouldn't be runny at all. It should not have any streaks. It should be an even coat all the way across the receiver. And that's with the brush. Now, this one right here, once again, you can see, and this is really common, you can see the spots that are uneven, or maybe you can't. I can see the spots that are uneven, very much uneven, and this is the way I used to see all the M16s all the time, until I got them to convert to brushes. Now, by using the brush, I'm hitting all the spots that were missed, all the cracks and crevices. And now, got a perfect coat of oil. Now, let me turn it over. I'll turn it over this way. That way I'm kind of blocking the serial number. Some people ask, well, why do people cover up the serial numbers? Well, it's none of people's business what serial number I have or anybody else has. And it's not like a serial number or a license plate number or something like that, where everybody has access to it, but nobody else needs to know what my serial numbers are. And the nice thing is, this will actually get into magazine wells and things like that just by going like that. And if there's any dust and debris or anything else in there, it'll get rid of it. So it's getting a nice, gotta do that, sorry, quick. Now, you can tell if you got a perfect amount of oil if you go ahead and press down on that, and it leaves a nice fingerprint. And there you can see it. See the fingerprint? That's that's what you call a perfect amount of oil. Because basically what you're doing is you have a nice fine coating of oil across that whole receiver, and it works really great if you're going to be storing weapons for a long period of time, or months, or years. Preferably not years, but it can be used that long. And I'll go back to this one right here, and with the same little squirt, and quick, go ahead and once you get that first receiver, again the first part of the receiver, whatever your rifle you're starting to work on, the oil will kind of bunch up and soak into the bristles. But after that, then it's easy. Then you can just keep on brushing, and it'll always apply that perfect coat. And every once in a while you'll have to go ahead and take a drop and put it on there. This right here is the receiver I'm working on. This is for the Savage 110 project, converting this Savage 110E in 30-06 to 6.5 by 4.7 Lapua. And currently doing some work on here. I still got to swap out the trigger, and I was supposed to be putting the barrel on. I ran into a slight snag with the head space. I don't have quite enough